Hey guys, I'm Cleetus Mcfarland and this is my story.
Imagine yourself rolling to a meet in your very own C6 ZR1. This Jetstream Blue ZR1, along with $20,000 cash, is up for grabs to one lucky fan. All you gotta do is go to 1320video.com, links in the description below, and every dollar you spend this week is 3 entries to win this car and the cash. Comes with a 6.2 liter V8, launch control, no lift shift, and it's a blast to drive.
So I got into cars, oh man, I don't know, I guess probably from the first time I could even realize what they were. My dad was a car enthusiast, not on the side of racing, but more so on the side of car detailing. He had a car detailing business when I was growing up. He was doing mobile car detailing as well as working at McDonald's. So we had a pretty cool setup. You know, there was a couple cool cars coming in and going when I was growing up, and it just kind of sparked my interest for being around vehicles. Plus, we had Power Wheels, you know, and obviously Power Wheels are freaking insane when you're a kid. So it just sparked my love for driving. And then I wanted to be a race car driver since I can even remember. So obviously got older and started really getting into cars because I could drive them. And my dad had a taxi cab business, so we had a lot of Crown Vics. And when I was young, you know, I'd go to work with them on the weekends, move the Crown Vics around the parking lot. That was basically my favorite thing to do. Looked forward to it so much. And in Nebraska, you can drive when you're 14. So I think I was about to turn 15 when I got my first car, which was a Trailblazer with like 245,000 miles on it. So fast forward a couple years, you know, I kind of went through a few different cars. I had a 4Runner, I had a Ram 1500, and then I ended up getting into the Subaru game, you know, Subaru STI, which I know the guys that you guys can't see behind these cameras know about. That's when I met the 1320 video crew. So it's the middle of summer, I'm cruising down the streets of Omaha in my Subaru, and I come up on a Mazda Speed 3 at a stoplight. And the guy rolls down his window. He's like, hey, what's up, man? You wanna race? Or, you know, something along those lines. We ended up racing. That guy was Chase from the OG Evo, 3DX Evo videos that went viral on 1320 video. So if you haven't looked at those videos, you should go check those out. Well, Chase at the next stoplight was like, hey dude, I like your car. You should come to one of our car meets we do at Sonic every, was it Wednesday? Every Wednesday. So I'm like, hell yeah, that sounds really cool. I had never been to a car meet in my life when this happened, besides maybe with my dad when I was younger. So that upcoming Wednesdays, maybe 2 days later, I show up at the car meet, and that's when I met Chase formally. Chase that same day introduced me to Kyle Loftus, owner of 1320 Video, which are telling me about it at the time, and I'm like, YouTube channel, you know, this is 2011 when this is all happening. And I'm kind of like, you know, oh, that's pretty interesting. So, you know, that night I go home, pull up the family computer, I'm checking out 1320 Video. I'm like, dude, this is crazy. I'm like, this guy is filming street racing. I can't believe this. The next week, I go back to the meet, and now I'm like, I gotta be friends with these guys. These are like the coolest guys I've ever seen. You know, I'm young and just excited to be there, and I'm watching them with their big cameras, and I'm like, this is just insane, you know, and they all have modified cars. My car was bone stock because I was really kind of scared to modify it. I didn't really know what to do. And, you know, they're like downpipes, turbos, they got all this stuff going on, which was just mind-blowing to me. So I started easing my way into the friend group. Even though I was younger than the crew, they were pretty welcoming to me. And then maybe 6 months later, we're at the Sonic meet, and I hear word that we're about to go street racing. And I'm like, holy crap, I'm definitely following this. So they all pull out. I follow the group, and it's the Beer Bomb Mustang, Fox Body, driven by Joey, and he's gonna race some street bikes. you remember this, Fred?
Yeah, we have that video.
We have the video, yeah, the video exists. So it's on 1320 video right now. So we turn down the road right out of Sonic, and I see the beater bomb line up and the street bikes line up, and I'm on the opposite side of the road, so I just pull over at basically what would be the 60 foot of a drag strip, and I whip my phone out and I film out the window of my Subaru, and Joey races these dudes, and I'm just like, holy crap, that was the most insane thing I've seen in my life, but I got a sick video of it. So we get back to Sonic, I go up to Kyle, you know, I'm like, hey dude, check out this video. And he's like, oh man, that's a really good video, you gotta send that to me. And I'm like, hell yeah, I'll send it to you. So I send it to him, and he's like, you know, puts it in a video, and I'm just showing every single person I know this video. I'm like, I filmed that 4-second scene right there, that was me. So it's probably now a year or maybe 6 months after. It's all blurry. This is crazy. This is like 2011, so long ago now. I was kind of hanging out with some friends, and they were telling me about Instagram. And I'm checking it out, and you know, I kind of made one, and you know, we kind of all made them at the same time, all the guys. And I hit up Kyle from 1320, and I'm like, hey dude, like, we should get on Instagram. I know your Facebook page is huge. Like, let me run an Instagram page for you. So he created it, gave me the password, whatever. I logged in and just started posting stuff. And before we knew it, we had like 10,000 followers, which was insane at the time. 10,000 followers was huge. And the Facebook page has like, I don't know, 1.5 million at this time. So the Facebook page is like one of the biggest on Facebook. So I'm starting to do the Instagram thing a lot now. I'm like pushing it because I'm so excited. Kyle's not paying me anything. I'm just like, dude, I'll do anything you want to be a part of this deal. And then came up TX2K 2013, which is a big street race event. Well, it's a drag race, but a lot of street racing. That's why 1320 video would go, is to film the street racing. And Fred and I, that was our first event ever. We both kind of hit up Kyle, and we're like, hey, you know, we just want to come and be a part of it. And I remember we drove ourselves, you know, we didn't go with the crew, we just kind of followed the pack. And I think we were just excited to get t-shirts that said 1320 video staff on it. And we showed up, and Fred filmed, and I was just running around, you know, taking pictures for the Instagram. And then that same weekend, Kyle was like, hey, I'm super slammed, like, why don't you post some stuff on the Facebook too? So then I got access to that. So then from that point on, we were in the crew, like we were officially part of the team. It's kind of like we were just there to support before that, and then TX2K13, we got our jobs. So from that point on, you know, I graduated high school that same year, and I went off to college in Florida, and I would just kind of travel to the big events like TX2K or the streetcar takeovers and do my Instagram and Facebook posts. And that grew into a more formal job where I was actually getting paid because I was doing these articles on Kyle's website called racecarthings.com. And I would post, you know, a cool YouTube video with a title and a description, and then we'd put it on Facebook, and if people clicked on that link, we would generate ad revenue on Kyle's website. So that was how I made my money for Kyle, and then he would pay me. Man, it was $100 a week, I remember, at the time, which is, you know, it's nothing, but I was just so happy to be doing it, and it gave me at least something to pay for, you know, food and gas and whatever. I had another job at Jimmy John's at the time, so it was all good. Then, fast forward, the website starts popping off. You know, I'm killing it, I'm writing these good articles. We started making some money, he started paying me more. And then if you fast forward 2 years now, it's July of 2015, we all fly out to Colorado for Rocky Mountain Race Week. And this is a new event we've never been to. We show up, and it's a drag and drive event where the race cars have to drive from track to track around Colorado and set their best time for the best average of the week. We show up, doing the same social media thing. We had some other extracurricular social media things going on, but every day, you know, I have to write these articles. I have to schedule out posts on the 1320 Video Facebook page. It came out to about 10 posts a day on that, and then maybe 5 posts a day on Instagram. And it's like day 4, right? Day 3 or 4, we're in Pueblo, Colorado, and Kyle and I are walking in the hotel with like Alec and maybe Matt, maybe Fred. It's a little blurry, I don't remember. But Tom Bailey's car is sitting outside of the hotel. And I'm looking at it and I'm just kind of joking around like, Kyle, let's make a funny video. Because I had never been in front of Kyle's cameras, but for funny, random stuff that never made the videos. And I just was always a goofball, so I was like, Kyle, film this, we'll make something funny to send to our buddies in the group chat, whatever, it's no big deal. So I had this shirt that I just bought from Walmart like 5 minutes prior. We stopped at Walmart just to get some random stuff. I bought this Chevy t-shirt and I ripped the sleeves off in the store and I'm wearing it. And I'm like, yeah, this is my 3,000 horsepower Camaro, I'm out here. And Kyle says, what should I call you? And I'm like, call me Dale McFarland or something. And Kyle goes, all right, we're standing here with Cleetus Mcfarland. And he just like rattles off the name. And I remember thinking like, that's hilarious.
We're here with Cletus McFarland.
Yep.
And you're 1969.
Yep, it's a big block Chevrolet engine. I'm a big Chevy fan. God damn, I love America.
And I do this whole little skit, and Kyle's like dying laughing. He thinks it's the funniest thing. And I'm like, all right, that was funny, you know, whatever. Send it to the guys. And he was like, no way, I'm putting this on the internet. And I was like, all right, whatever. So I literally go in my other hotel room or whatever, go to sleep, and I wake up, my phone's just blowing up. And Kyle had edited together this first Cletus video. It's titled Cletus Mcfarland and his 3,000 horsepower Camaro. And on Facebook, it had like close to 1 million views overnight. And then on YouTube, it was like nothing. It was like, you know, 30,000 views. So it was just getting going there. But people are blowing me up like, what is this Cletus video? My mom called me. She's like, what is that Cletus video? And she's like, remember, what you put on the internet stays on there forever. You know, because I'm just like being an idiot, you know, and she knows at the time that my goal is to go to law school. So she's like, you know, don't make a fool of yourself for no reason, is basically what she's saying, which it made sense. And I remember going to the track and someone was like, oh, Cletus, like I saw your video last night. And I was like, oh man, yeah, that's cool. And all my friends from home were texting me, and it was just an exciting day. I remember it being like really weird because everyone was calling me Cletus, but I just embraced it and tried to make the most out of it. But I didn't realize at the time that it had any substantial power over what we were doing. We just were like, oh, this is a fun thing, you know, because Facebook, you don't make any money, right? And it really only took off on Facebook. So from that point forward, I was publicly known as Cletus. And then, you know, my friends still called me Garrett, and it was just kind of this thing. So, I don't know, it might have been a month or two after I made a couple more random funny Cletus videos, and those took off too. So it was working, and Kyle's pretty amped up about them. You know, he made the decision to do a Cletus t-shirt, which was cool, and I made a couple $1,000s off of that, which was really exciting. And I still at this time didn't realize any of this was worth something to my life, you know, more than just a fun little side gig. So I didn't do anything with it. Just continued to make maybe one Cletus video every 3 or 4 months. And then I'm sitting in law school now. It's been that long since we started, right? So I was only 2 or 3 years into college, and then I went to law school. And then that whole time I just made some Facebook videos. Well, I'm sitting in law school doing the same thing that I've been doing this whole time: Instagram, Facebook, website articles. I'm watching these YouTube videos because my job on the website was to find interesting YouTube videos that people would click on so we get that ad revenue. And I'm watching these guys' videos and I'm like, dude, I could do this. I remember watching several vloggers at the time, Street Speed, Rob Ferretti, you know, Super Speeders Rob, and I just got some motivation after watching these a couple cool videos. One of them being a video of Hurt from Hoonigan in his RX-7 on the street, and I was like, man, I just want to make some videos maybe for my own thing. So I hit up Kyle that evening and I was like, hey buddy, do you think that I could post some Cleetus videos on my own YouTube channel? You know, because we had just been doing the Cletus's garage videos on his channel, and he was like, absolutely, you know, post whatever you want. So he gave it his blessing, and I just went home that night and made a video in my garage with my pickup truck, or my C7. It was, I don't remember the first video, but I just posted it up, kind of put it on my Instagram feed, and I started getting some views. And I can just remember the first time I got over 500 views overnight. It was awesome. And then once I started kind of formulating my process, I hit up Kyle when I would have like a really good video I was proud of, and I'd be like, hey, like, can we put this through the 1320, you know, funnel and get it some views? And he would give his blessing maybe every 2 weeks on doing that, which was awesome, because in this world, you see more often than not a boss, you know, the owner of a company, if one of their main guys was starting to take off on a path of basically the same exact business plan, they would be like, whoa, dude, like, you need to stop, like, you're competing against my company. Kyle, like, never for a second tried to stop what I was doing with the Cleetus Mcfarland brand. He only helped me put it on the path that it's on today, which, like, I am forever grateful for, and I live my life the same way because of that reason. I would never block any of my guys from starting their own thing, because if Kyle did that to me, I don't know where I'd be today. And I'm so grateful for Kyle and his generosity in those times when he could have easily put a stop to it. If he asked me one time to stop posting videos, I would have stopped. And there were times when, like, say my work kind of took a hit because I was so distracted by the Cleetus stuff. And he would be like, hey dude, like, I know you want to do the Cleetus stuff and you're excited about it, you gotta do your job. And then I would focus up and do my job. So the Cleetus stuff went from 500 views overnight to 1,000 views to 2,000 views, 5,000 views, and it just started really picking up, and it was such an exciting time. I basically had a priority list of 1320 video work, Cleetus Mcfarland channel, and then law school. And I was just working through the grind every day, doing all three every day. I'd wake up, get my 1320 video posts all scheduled out, go to school, go home, shoot my Cleetus video, edit it, put it up, and then maybe do some homework if I had time, but I didn't really care about that. And that went on for 2 years. You know, I stayed in law school for 2 years, decided after racing home from TX2K all night to show up to Constitution law, and the guy put on a movie, and I was like, dude, I'm done with this. You know, I'm fed up with this law school thing. I'm paying for it, right? So it's $36,000 a semester, and I had student loans on it, and I just decided it's game time. So I saw this Gary Vee video that day, and he's like, I mean, straight up, this video that Gary Vee posted, he's like, F your parents, F what everyone thinks. He's like, you gotta risk it for the biscuit. Like, he didn't say those exact words. I mean, he said the F your parents thing, but he's like, quit listening to everybody else. Do what you want to do. And I'm like, yeah. So I get out of class that day. I call my parents. I said, look, I hope you guys understand, you know, I'm starting to make some money. I made $4,000 last month off the Cleetus channel. Like, I'm gonna go for it. I gotta be done with school. I'm done. And they're like, do it. So I I dropped out of law school. It was crazy. It was a weird feeling because I just put in all that work for years, and now it's kind of like you could go back, but after 5 years, all your credits and stuff's junk. And boom, we went full time on the channel. So that was like 2017 when I started getting after it and just doing the thing. Me and Cooper were making videos in the driveway. We had the first video go viral of the exhaust whistles in the C7. That video went viral, and we were just getting hated on so bad because the videos were so bad, but they had great titles and thumbnails. So we were getting a lot of views. We were getting almost no subscribers at that moment, and the hate sucked. It really was brutal. I've had everything said about me that any person could possibly say about a human being during that rise to, say, 50,000 subscribers or 100,000 subscribers. Like, I call it the gauntlet because people were so ruthless and so they just wanted you to fail so badly. When you're in that grind from 0 to 100,000 subscribers, no one wants you to win besides maybe your girlfriend and your friends. Maybe some of your friends don't even want you to win. And I just sometimes at night it would definitely hit, and I would wonder if this is all right, if this is smart. And then you'd have a really bad week of videos where your views sucked, and you don't know if it's going to be enough money to really support the upcoming plans you have. And it sucked, and a few different times, but I always just was so excited to work on my car and make it faster that's what dragged me through to get to over that ridge of where I then had enough people supporting me and positive comments that when someone would say, like, look at this ugly idiot, it's just some hurtful thing. Like, then I had enough people that would jump in there and be like, hey, I like this guy, leave him alone. And that's when things, kind of started to take a positive turn in my comment section. And I was like, all right, we're fired up. And that's, I guess, where I caught that break mentally to just full send it. I was nonstop from that moment on. I mean, there was no way for me to fail because my mindset was so to the top. Like, we just had to win. So we just started making videos like crazy, and this is all still while I'm working for Kyle because I didn't want to leave what made me who I was behind right away. So I still worked for Kyle for several years, and then we had a meeting. We brought in another social media guy, trained him, and then let him off, to do his thing. So, and then I think we're at like 2018 or something now, somewhere in that area, 2019. I don't know. But it all seems like a blur now, but it was just so fast that we went from law school, dragged down, maybe this is a good idea, maybe this is a bad idea, to just full rip, and then we started getting some credibility. And then I went and did some car challenges with Rob Ferretti, was meeting up with the Boosted Boys, and man, the afterburners turned on, and there we went. We found our niche pretty fast in drag racing specifically. I loved it, and and Streetcar Takeover, which was owned by Chase and Justin Keith, I loved their events. So naturally I just kind of started drag racing so that I could be at their events. And then 1320 Video, I wanted to be at 1320 Video's events to just be a part of it and race and all that. So we started showing up to these races with Leroy, and Leroy really put us on the map because that car was so unique and different. I bought it for $5,000 off of eBay, and Leroy was just a joke almost in the car world because no one considered it, a legitimate race car, yet we were pushing really hard to make it a legitimate race car, and we'd show up to these races and just do bad. Like, I remember showing up to LS Fest, it's our first year there. I did the burnout, and Cooper accidentally pulled the parachute pin out walking by the car or something, and like the parachute's laying in the water box, and he's scrambling to put it on, and I'm in the car kind of panicking on what's going on, and someone took a picture of it and was just kind of roasting us on the internet. And I was like, gosh, we are such idiots. Like, why can't we just get it together? The throttle body on the car would just close every time I tried to make a quarter-mile run. It was a disaster at the time. I felt bad because I had just gotten Texas Speed to sponsor me, and I just could not pull it together, and it was so tough. But then, a couple months down the road, I started getting some help from Kevin Smith from KSR. So finally, we took the stock computer off the car, and Holly helped me put a Holly Dominator in the car. And honestly, I can say that that was the changing point from when I went from a YouTuber to a race car driver, because all of a sudden I had a race car. I got to give a lot of credit to the Holly computer because it totally changed Leroy. I didn't realize the difference between a racing computer and a stock computer. I just thought like, oh, whatever, it's just a computer. Then we started showing up to races, and we had the fastest stick car out. And I'm like, what is happening? People are trying to kick us out of classes, and all of a sudden we went from the guy that everyone thought was a clown to the guy that people were like, oh, you know, he's got sponsors, and whatever, if he wins, it was a shoo-in anyway. He's got every part on that car is sponsored, and we started winning, and now it's like we go to World Cup and we leave with a trophy, and I'm like, I can't even believe it. It was a pretty quick transition. All of a sudden we went from the joke, the clown of the town, to a guy that you had to watch out for, and it was a damn good feeling because we were kind of clowns of the town for a while, and I just hated posting these videos of going out like first round every race. It's just a terrible feeling. So that transition felt good, and Leroy, I mean, he's a dominant force to this day. Just won World Cup finals in the 6-shift class. So the major parts of the story there are starting Cletus, becoming a successful racer, and then now the channel is making enough money that I have employees, I have merchandise, which everything's going well, and I was actually able to buy the racetrack known as the Freedom Factory today, formerly known as DeSoto Speedway, which was a really wild process. It was actually 4 years ago. Last week is when I released the first video on it. It was December of 2019. I bought this old circle track that had been abandoned for years, and since I was a drag racer, I was always down here at Bradenton Motorsports Park, and I saw this place, and I was always like, dude, whose shithole's that, you know? I was like, what is that place over there? It's just weeds everywhere. It's always closed. And I dumped every dollar that I had literally into this place to purchase it. And at the time, all I had was a leased shop. I had Ruby, Leroy, and Neighbor. And every other dollar I had went into purchasing this track. It was by far the most leverage I've ever been financially, in debt. I had barely enough income to cover the $17,000 mortgage. I had barely enough money to pay my payroll, which I don't know if James and our merch girl and Cooper even knew that at the time. But I'll never forget the pressure of those months before I was able to make a financial comeback and get through that time. But the pressure was immense, you know. Definitely one of those keep you up at night every night for weeks, months type situation. But it did work out, and I got lucky based on some really good mentorship from a good friend of mine, Alan, and my parents. I was lucky enough to make the right decisions and get through all that, but golly, I don't know if I'd ever risk it like that financially again, because at the time I didn't have a lot to lose. So we made it through that. You know, now we have a very stable business over there, and it helps pay for a lot of this stuff. And you know, now we have so many freaking cars because of the Crown Vic races and stuff. It's just insane. Since the Freedom Factory, everything has blown up. Like Leroy kind of put us on a trajectory like this. Freedom Factory tilted that up even more, and like we just have been on a rip ever since, and it's insane. So at this point in time, goals and ideas for the future, we have several things on the plate. Right now we're getting into some aviation stuff. we have just the carbon cub, but I have a really, really, really cool project that's right on the front. You know, I can't get into it much, but it's so cool that I just can't even think about it straight. And I think the goals that I have right now would be for the company to stabilize even more to a point where I can spend more time with my family and my son and wife and my soon to be here daughter, so that, you know, I get that family time, but also that these guys can keep the shop running at full speed. So the videos are the same and just as awesome. I'm just here a little bit less. But when I get here, I can do our thing, make just as even better videos than before, but also have that extra time with my family. That's one of my goals. I want my guys, I want all my employees to make more money, you know? So we're constantly doing raises. I would say one of my goals would be for all of these guys to make enough money to do their dreams too, you know, build the cars they want to have. I think they all can right now, but I want that to just keep growing. I mean, I look at our payroll now and I'm like, I just can't even believe these numbers are real and that we're able to afford them. But I want to keep that whole side of the business growing so that these guys can do what they love, because their passion for racing exists outside of the shop and what we do here. So I love seeing that. The Freedom Factory already runs itself, so that goal is achieved. That was one of my big ones. But I don't know. I would say I need a 5-second car bad. I'm ready for that. We've been sitting at the table talking several times lately about what our 5-second car is going to be, and we have not landed on that just yet. So our 5-second car, I would say, will be completed by the end of 2025, but I don't know what it's going to be yet. So that's a big goal of mine, is to have a 5-second car and go just knock some heads off with it. So those are long-term goals. Short-term goals: win World Cup again this year, get the trifecta. You know, we've won it the last 2 years with different cars, but I'd also like it to be a double win, dual class win. So we'll see on that. I want to take Motion Raceworks just up a whole nother notch. TBM Brakes is like probably our fastest growing company right now, and I want there to be TBM brakes on every race car I see at the track, which is, it's almost there. Like, there's a ton of TBM brakes. So we just have, I don't know, like, I can talk about every single portion of what we're doing and say that I want it to be bigger and better, because I do. And we just got to get back to work and make it happen, I guess. Well, I guess that's the short version of it, but I'm Cleetus Mcfarland, and that was my story.